Hello and welcome to today's case. Before we start, we would like to say our respect goes out to those who knew and loved Joleen Cummings. Today we will travel to Fernandina Beach, Florida, a nice quiet place for locals and an excellent place for visitors. Fernandina Beach is on an island northeast of Florida, just above Jacksonville. On May 14, 2018, one family would start a journey down a dark path. That morning, the sheriff's office would receive a call from a frantic mother stating her 34-year-old daughter, Joleen Cummings, was missing. She told the sheriff that the last time she spoke to her daughter was on May 12th. Her mother would explain that she began to get worried on Sunday the 13th when her daughter failed to pick up her two sons after their week-long visit with their father. She also told investigators that on Sunday, it was Jolene's birthday and it was also Mother's Day. Joleen would have wanted to spend time with her two boys. See, Joleen loved her two boys, and they meant the world to her. She wouldn't just up and leave without telling anyone. A brief backstory into Joleen. Joleen was born May 13, 1984, in a small town. Growing up, Joleen lived with her mother and stepfather. She was described to be a joyful and energetic person. After graduating high school, Joleen went to cosmetology school with the goal of owning her own hair salon. After cosmetology school, Joleen would start working at Tangles Hair Salon in Fernandina Beach. While working there, she would get into a relationship with a guy named Jason. Joleen and Jason would have their first son in 2013. After the birth of his son, Jason would propose, and soon after they would get married. A year later, Jason and Joleen would have their second son in 2015. Leading up to 2017, Joleen and Jason would get a divorce due to problems that occurred in their relationship. Now, May 14, 2018, Joleen's mother and co-workers haven't seen or heard from her in 2 days. Local authorities would start a search for Joleen. They started the investigation with her estranged husband, Jason. It was noted that Jason and Joleen were going through a custody hearing. When investigators called Jason, he stated he was willing to do an interview with detectives to clear his name. Investigators also noted the last place Joleen was seen was at the hair salon on the 12th. The owner of Tangles Hair Salon told investigators she saw Joleen doing someone's hair before she left. That day there were 3 workers beside the owner. It was Joleen, a new employee that just got hired 2 months ago, and another employee who had worked at the hair salon for over 10 years. The owner explained that the new employee named Jennifer and Joleen were responsible for closing the salon by 5 p.m. that day. Investigators would have an interview with Jason, the ex-husband. Detectives would ask Jason about his relationship with Joleen and the kids. Detectives would question Jason on his whereabouts the night she went missing, and his alibi was that he was home with the kids and some friends the whole weekend. Jason would give permission to the detectives to search his phone, his house, and his car. Jason also stated they could take his DNA if they needed. The detectives would take Jason up on that offer, and after searching his car and his phone, they would clear him for any involvement in Joleen's disappearance. Before leaving, Jason would ask detectives about Joleen's new boyfriend.
What about his boyfriend? Can you please, Mr. Coworker, can you please tell me about this guy?
She has a guy she's been seeing and they're looking into that.
Text message from people saying he's bad.
Investigators were already looking for Joleen's new man. Detectives would receive information about Joleen's new boyfriend. It was noted that he had a search warrant out for his arrest. Detectives used this as a reason to pick him up and bring him down for questioning. Investigators would find and arrest him in Hillard, Florida, in a relative's house, and he would be brought in for questioning the same day. The footage you are about to see is between the detectives and Joleen's new boyfriend.
Probation violation, okay? You are in custody, you're not free to leave. Can we go just kind of back to the beginning, how you guys got together, where you met?
That's what I'm saying. It was a night. We got an argument. And she was accusing me of messing around with it.
I went in there to see what was in the house. There was some cabinets broken and some holes and stuff. Did that happen that night?
Detectives would press him on his whereabouts for the day Joleen went missing.
Well, I was citizen Saturday.
Was she at work or was she at work?
She was, I'll tell you, she was at work because it was like 3:50 something, 3:57.
The messages in your phone from?
I don't have a phone, man. No, sir. I have my cousins or my aunts or whatever this morning. I took the battery out of it and I said, I haven't been on it. The reason I was I got a warrant for violation of probation. I didn't want to go to jail. I didn't have nothing to do with Jolene. I'm telling you the truth. I had nothing to do with Jolene. They messing up.
The detectives would learn that Jolene's new boyfriend wasn't involved in her disappearance. They were able to confirm his alibi and clear him as a suspect. Investigators were able to get access to Jolene's house. When they entered the house, it was a mess. They would find broken cabinets, walls, and doors that had damage on them, and everything was spread throughout the rooms. After searching, investigators were still at a loss. Detectives didn't consider her a suspect, but they wanted to ask Jennifer, the new employee who had recently been hired, if she had heard a phone call or had seen something that wasn't normal. While talking on the phone with Jennifer, she would tell investigators that she couldn't be involved in a law enforcement investigation because she had an ex-boyfriend stalking her. He was a computer expert, and if he found her, he would kill her, so she didn't want to be involved. That caught investigators off guard, but they couldn't force her to talk. Detectives would take a trip down to the Tangles Hair Salon to speak with the owner. They wanted to ask about Jolene a bit more, but importantly, they wanted to know more about Jennifer. While detectives were talking to the store owner, Jennifer happened to walk into the salon. When Jennifer saw detectives talking with the owner, she freaked out. Detectives would state that Jennifer told the salon owner that she wanted to quit and no longer wanted to work there. All her actions were seen as red flags that made her a suspect, and detectives wanted to learn more about Jennifer. While looking into Jennifer's history, detectives would receive a tip from an anonymous caller stating they seen Jolene's car on the news and they just found it parked at the back of Home Depot. The Home Depot was only 2 miles away from Tangles Hair Salon. In addition, detectives would find footage from a nearby bank. Looking over the footage, detectives would make a shocking discovery. In the early morning of the 13th, you can see Jolene's vehicle being driven into the Home Depot parking lot. A minute later, someone exits the car and can be seen walking towards a nearby gas station. Looking over the footage from the gas station, you can see the figure was a female wearing all black clothing. She entered the gas station, and when switching camera angles, detectives were able to identify the female as Jennifer. With this information, detectives headed to the hair salon with a crime scene team to investigate. When the crime scene unit applied luminol, a chemical that reacts with the blood, a horror would be revealed. The whole store would light up like it was Christmas. There were signs of a crime that took place with the amount of blood they found. The blood would come back as a positive match for Jolene. With this information, Jennifer would become their main suspect. Detectives would locate Jennifer a few hours after discovering the crime scene at a truck stop parked between 2 semi-trucks. It was clear to detectives that Jennifer was trying to hide. She would be arrested for grand theft auto for stealing Jolene's car. Detectives would state that Jennifer had a significant cut on her face. When asked about her cut, Jennifer told the detective that she was riding her bike and fell into a tree. While Jennifer was in a holding cell, the investigators would find footage from behind the hair salon. In the video, Jennifer can be seen throwing multiple large trash bags into the dumpster. She continued to do this for hours, even after the salon was closed for the day. After getting a search warrant for Jennifer's car, investigators would find a book bag with a pair of scissors, and on the scissors it contained blood. The blood from the scissors would come back as Jolene. Investigators would also find a receipt for a purchase made by Jennifer at a local Walmart. When looking at the footage of Jennifer in Walmart, you can see her buying ammonia. She can also be seen buying some large trash bags, gloves, and a carving knife. After making that purchase, she would return to the hair salon. An hour later, she would emerge from the salon throwing out more trash bags. Finally, detectives would bring Jennifer in for questioning. Before detectives got to ask Jennifer questions, she would hit them with a bombshell. First, she would tell the detectives that she was on the run and that her real name was Kimberly Kessler, not Jennifer. Then, she would tell them how she was on the run from the FBI for over 20 years.
I was going to tell you, when you want to run my fingerprints through, they come up as Kimberly Lee Kessler. I am 50 years old. I've been running from the FBI for over 25 years, whatever, and he was with me whenever he called somebody and they said, the FBI is looking for you. And then he tells me everything. Oh, I brought these bags. And I'm like, you what? And I did him in my apartment, and that was like kind of almost the beginning.
She thought you were the one, she was going to look you up.
Oh, right, yeah.
Her body's out there somewhere, and you're the one that can make it happen right now.
No, I can't.
The detectives would find out her identity of Jennifer was stolen and her real name was Kimberly Kessler, but everything else she told was a lie. She was never on the run from the FBI. They would search her phone and find her web history. The detectives would find that Kimberly was searching for information about Jolene's disappearance. She would search to see if there was any suspects. By the end of her interview, she would be charged with first-degree murder. On December 9, 2021, a jury convicted 53-year-old Kimberly Kessler of first-degree murder and grand theft auto. She was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole.